Hello, friends. Well, I can't say that this was what I was expecting for my 15th consecutive Greenbuild, but I sure am glad to be here with you nonetheless. If I close my eyes, I can see all of you from the plenary stage. This week, I'll be waving to you from the virtual hallways and as we float past one another on the escalator, and I hope that you'll stop by and say hi at IWBI's virtual booth. It's bittersweet, this new version of Greenbuild, but I'm encouraged that the show does go on, because the show must go on. The work of this community has never been more important. The global pandemic and the sum total of 2020 events have taught us that. I'm not on Instagram, but a lot of people forwarded me this meme that was circulating at the outset of the pandemic. My first thought was, agree. We need to figure out how to get populations around the globe to activate around a cure for climate change with the same determination that they've activated around a cure or a vaccine for the COVID-19. For years, I've advocated for new ways of messaging the climate crisis to inspire people to live, work, and design differently. As our colleague Judith Webb likes to say, intellectual agreement alone is not inspiration to act. When we founded the Center for Green Schools at USGBC, we called upon this community to make it about kids, not polar bears, to call people to attention by humanizing the conversation and tapping into our universal desire to provide a brighter future for our children, our families, and for future generations. But this meme is also kind of wrong, as are many of the environmentalists who have been calling for us to stop paying so much attention to the virus and start focusing on the larger threat of climate change. Because COVID-19 is not a distraction from climate change. It's an expression of it. Bill McKibben is right that one crisis doesn't stop when another one starts. And Bill McKibben and other climate activists are right that climate change, not COVID-19, is the greatest existential threat to our existence. But what many in the environmental community are missing is the opportunity that this global pandemic presents for a worldwide wake-up call to climate change. If we tell the story right, climate activism can take a giant leap forward, and we'll have this insidious and deadly virus to thank for it. The COVID-19 pandemic is a story of the fragility of the human condition. It's a cautionary tale of what we can expect when we disrespect nature, when we upset the natural balance of people and planet, when we ravage our forests, pillage the earth, plumage biodiversity, and go to places we as humans aren't supposed to be to consume things we aren't meant to eat. The COVID-19 pandemic is a visual and undeniable demonstration of the havoc that we humans wreak on our planet and on our health. Lockdowns across the world visibly demonstrated that climate change is human-made. With construction paused, with fewer cars on the road, with so many buildings powered down, the skies cleared, we saw city skylines and mountain views in sharper relief than we had in years, and many of us could literally breathe easier. The COVID-19 pandemic is a story of what happens when we aren't prepared for the unexpected. It's a reminder of our vulnerability and our true dependence on the planet and Mother Nature's good graces in a moment like this when we've already been brought to our knees. These images are a cry for help from Mother Earth. They are a warning sign, a reminder that human health and planetary health are inextricably linked, that it's hard, if not impossible, to have one without the other. The COVID-19 pandemic is a call to attention. It's a call to action. And it is a poignant and searing reminder that the people who have the least almost always suffer the most. The pandemic has disproportionately impacted low-income families and marginalized communities. The virus rode in on the backs of centuries of racism, oppression, and injustice. It reminded us once again that clean air, access to healthcare, sufficient housing, and quality education are a fundamental right that we deny to many. The communities that are disproportionately getting sick and dying from COVID-19 are the same ones that are most affected by the devastating impacts of climate change. This is a conversation about equity and justice. Here in the US and across the world, we must ask ourselves, if we believe everyone should have the opportunity to live a healthy and happy life, why aren't we making good on that promise? The COVID-19 pandemic has also taught us, those of us who do have more, to live with less. Without all the international travel, I know that my carbon footprint is smaller than it's ever been in my professional lifetime. And yet, I feel more connected to my colleagues, to our customers, to my family, and to my friends. COVID-19 has reminded me of what matters most. I eat out less, I cook home more. I walk everywhere, even though I have a car to get me there faster. For the first time in 15 years, I'm home long enough to take care of my plants, grow my own herbs and vegetables, and tend to my garden. I do more yoga. I meditate on my roof. I buy less clothing and fewer pairs of high heels. Today is for sure my first Greenbuild speech in flip-flops. COVID-19 offers us an important lesson that treading lighter on the earth doesn't have to be about what we lose, but rather it can be about what we gain. For those of us who have the luxury of having enough, we can experience more abundance than scarcity in this simple act of simplification. What COVID-19 has to teach us is that your work, our work, has never mattered more. Climate change, not COVID, is the most pressing and urgent threat to our health, our livelihoods, and our humanity. So stay focused, stay motivated, and stay the course. Let's focus on doing more good as opposed to less bad. Energy efficiency will only slow our crash course toward extinction. We have to focus on going beyond zero toward regenerative solutions that put carbon back into the atmosphere. And let's redouble our focus on the pursuit of equity. I'm thrilled to announce that this will be my highest priority as the new CEO of IWBI and our team's principal focus in the coming months and years. There are already 25 features in WELL that address diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, and justice. And today we are issuing a call to action to all of you to join us in further fortifying WELL as a tool for health equity and affording everyone an opportunity to live the healthiest versions of their lives. Please stop by the IWBI booth or email healthequity@wellcertified.com to learn more or express your interest in joining our new Health Equity Advisory. We'll formally launch the application process at the beginning of December, so I hope you'll consider answering the call. But when you do call, you'll call me Rachel Hodgson, because friends, I'm getting married, and I wanted you to be amongst the first to know. I hope that it will serve as a reminder to all of you that despite the pandemic and all of the uncertainty and all of the sacrifice, that love still prevails.